c1, some weird tempo, attacking
nice.
the knight, and then if you take c takes and d7's the threat and the knight is hanging. Yeah.
Okay, I was way too. a3.
Yeah, but this one's already better for white.
Oh my gosh! I was going to capture on c3.
This one's already better for white. This is.
Oh my gosh! I was going to capture on c3.
You got rook e3.
This one's already better for
capture on c3. I was so proud of my piece.
And then, in order not to lose material, you actually have to go like 5-3.
I was so proud of my
piece. And then, in order not to 3 and a3 for d5 and the point is that, getting rid of this pawn, I'm no longer scared. Still bishops and everything else.
But you have to understand, before you played this rook, I was so proud of my bishops and everything else.
That's something that I think computer taught us a lot, that we all appreciate beautiful combinations of beautiful tactics where every piece, plays perfectly, everything's harmonious, but the ugly tactic, when your pieces are all over the place, but somehow it works for you, that's amazing. Well, you guys at home, the knight on d4 does nothing, and yet
it works with all the pieces on the back.
So we did. Sorry to interrupt you, Jovi. So the point of rook d6 is you got to make a move. Rook e6 was the computer's move, and then you went g5 and you said, "Welcome to my mess."
Yeah, there's also
chaos.
Yes.
Chaos.
H takes, bishop takes, and then again the threat of countering there. So bishop f3, and this one's less clear. That's still good for black. Still good for black. It's not like white's all of a sudden equalized, but all I was saying that white perhaps gets a chance. So the bishop comes to life via h3, the other one is on g5. Wow. Yeah. So I'd say unlikely that Jan's going to lose this one, because he's this type of player that he values activity, very much. So it was much harder for him to kind of shuffle on this first, second rank and wait. So now at least he has his bidding point. He has a clear idea.
Let's check out the live ratings and see how those two players are doing. In fact, let's have a look at all of our participants. And this has been updated today. Magnus Carlsen still at the top with 28.31. Hikaru 28.01. Abby, yesterday he was at 27.99.
Right, he was just on the edge of 28.
On the edge, right? 27.98. And there we see Jan, who is playing Wesley, has 27.69. And Gukesh, 27.66. It's interesting that Wesley is just down to number 9 in the top 10 ratings.
And again, that feels like such a typo to me, because I'm so used to seeing Wesley in the top 5 of the world. When you think about how he matches up with Jan, and as we've just seen in that stat, a 6-1 result in Wesley's favor. You wouldn't expect Wesley to be behind Jan in rating. Rook d6, we'll leave that on the board. Where would you like me to go, Joe? Tell me where you find the action exciting.
It really is just the Najdorf.
Najdorf. Okay, we left it the Najdorf, that is to say, we left Nodirbek and MVL after bishop to d2. Castles, very good move. Did you see that move, Castles? Bring your king.
It's to safety. How many moves in were we when that happened?
Very good move. What is the number over there? 17, 18?
17, yeah.
Yeah, looks like it. Knight back to c3, inviting rook takes b6. How would you like to sacrifice in exchange? Sir? No, not especially. Knight to b6, rook to c1. We've caught up with the players. Extra pawn for MVL, but maybe decent compensation. Somehow I like this knight.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Well, also we were looking at putting a knight onto e5 something.
My moves are easy, my opponent's less so. But let's analyze that carefully. Knight to d1.
Yeah.
Let me play the move g6, just to put g6 on the board. Knight to e3. Now, most Sicilian players, Gary Kasparov included, rook e8, bishop f8, bishop g7, those are very Sicilian standard maneuvers here. But just, how worrisome is the play? Knight
About
e4.
c5 as well coming.
c5. Okay.
Yeah, so if you just kind of go rook e8.
Let me go back with the knight.
Yeah, so
Knight
then there's
f5.
knight f5, yeah.
Oh. By the way, queen g3 to d3. I'm seeing another big fat orange. What was that mistake graphic that you had produced for
Well, I can
us?
tell you. Let's have a look.
We were seeing
Nodirbek's. So
the
before the move
mistakes are
40,
going up through the roof on this one.
Nodirbek's mistake rate was 3.95%.
Okay.
But I think in this type of position, it's very understandable. It's very sharp.
Of course.
And MVL's was at 2.34%.
Let's have a look-see
Let's
again.
remind ourselves of that. So MVL scoring quite well in these mistake rates charts, whereas
Yes.
Nodirbek 3.95 at the higher end of the spectrum. And it's quite funny because after move 40, well, Nodirbek retains at 4.59%, and MVL 7.1%.
Whoa.
So the numbers are saying that MVL is making mistakes in the endgame.
Wow. Well, he did let Firouzja off the hook in that Berlin ending. By the way, it's kind of funny to see the queen returning to the d3 square. White made this great effort to prevent black from castling. Black castle. Now that you castled, the queen's not doing enough on g3. So
Well,
it's time to
we
checkmate.
understand the intention, right? So get rid of this knight and go queen h7.
Or to play bishop takes h5. And
Bishop takes h5. Yeah, but right away, Yasser, that after knight d1 and whatever we were trying, it was hard. Seriously, g6, knight d3, you were looking at.
And I was
And
going to
then-
play a move like queen c7,
It's not
knight
even
b7.
yeah, like
rook
queen
e8.
c7. I think knight f5 kind of destroys black entirely
Clearly.
because knight e6 then discovered check. And to highlight one more idea, let's say if you would go back to d7, c5, and if pawn takes, bishop c4. And
Yeah.
if you look at white pieces, like knight f5, this rook shifts over
Knight
everything against the king.
Yeah,
Everything.
it looks
Yeah.
gross,
Yes.
actually.
So knight h7 to try to exchange this guy, and one of the options is once again just go c5 sacrifice. Knight f7, rook f7, c5. If this is what computers